Once you start to become hypergamous, you're going to start to deal with relationship issues. And like you just said, you don't think that he's going to be able to provide a house big enough for you.
That's not fair. So you're telling me just because I want a man, I have to be settled with $50K? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Agree to Disagree, coming at you with another video review. All right, so today we're going to be reviewing a video called Overweight Woman Demands Above Average Earning Men. And this is coming from the channel Chantel Simone. This channel is near and dear to my heart because a lot of y'all guys don't know that Chantel was actually the first video. Her videos was one of the first videos I reviewed. So for that reason, this channel is very near and dear to my heart. Plus, she is trying to fix the relationship issues within the Black community, which is the same thing that I'm trying to do. So I definitely respect her for that. So let's dive in and see what Chantel talking about today.
Hey YouTube, this is Chantel, and I use my channel to speak with women who want to be better at dating and relationships by understanding certain topics and talking points from men's perspective. In this video, we're going to review a clip from the Poor Man's Podcast. Shout out to the Poor Man's Podcast of this overweight woman demanding above average men. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe.
Big fan
to
of
help
Poor
me grow
Man's
my
Podcast.
channel. And also
Check
share
out his
this
channel.
video to someone who you think may benefit from this conversation. Let's watch this clip.
Once you start to become hypergamous, you're going to start to deal with relationship issues. And like you
fair.
just said, you don't think that he's going to be able to provide a house big enough for you.
That's not fair. So you're telling me just because I want a man, I have to be settled with $50K? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Shout out to the Poor Man's Podcast. I love how he ended it with, okay, like I'm not.
Hold on, man. Before she gives her thoughts, I'm gonna give my thoughts. Like, cause I seen that video before, and I was just like, "Yo, that's wild." Like, she was like, "Yo, 50K is not enough. 50K, that's what? Like, do you know what the average salary is in America? It's right around 50K. So most of the dudes who are out here are probably gonna be making that amount of money. So 50K better be enough, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, otherwise I don't know how, how y'all gonna make it. Let's see what Chantel got to say.
Arguing with you. You see the issue with this? She's saying that's not fair, without taking into consideration what a man wants. I'm not faulting this young woman for having her desires. Everyone is entitled to want something. You know, they can have their desires. The question is, are you qualified for your desires? So she kept on saying it's not fair that she has to settle for a man who makes 50K just because she wants to live in a nice house. But the average man make 50K. You know, the average Black man make 50K. So basically what she's saying is she shouldn't have to settle for an average guy. And then say she doesn't want to settle, right? Say she wants above and beyond. She can have her desires all she wants. Is she qualified for her desire? A man that's making above average income, what does he want? Does he want someone that weighs as much as she do? And we live in such a one-sided society. Dating and relationship have been so one-sided for so long. It's always been about what women want. Women shouldn't settle. Women deserve her desires. We should demand this.
All right, so she's bringing up some pretty valid points. So she's right. You know, you can want what you want, but if you don't want to settle, you got to understand if the type of guys that you're going for, and if you're going for men of high wealth, there is studies that show that men of wealth prefer slimmer women or women who are fit. There's a study that shows direct correlation. So when a guy can pretty much afford to get a woman who is in shape or leaner, typically they go that route. Now you're gonna have a few outliers, someone gonna come on my page. I know this rich guy who would have been. That is the small minority. Most guys who have money are out there with good looking women, because I mean, if you got a lot of money, you got your pick of the litter. You know what I'm saying? So if you can pick whatever you want, a lot of guys aren't picking the big girl. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys are cool with dating a big girl, but if they had their pick of the litter, which a lot of wealthy men do, they're going with the slimmer woman. So she's making a good point here.
Refuse to settle. A man should go above and beyond to fulfill our needs. But nothing, no information, no emphasis, no attention has ever been placed on what men want. Because if that was the case, that woman would not have the nerve to set her mouth to say that she won't settle for an average man, that she deserves more, knowing that she weighs what she weighs. It's not to shame her, it's not to bash her, but it's to call a spade a spade. You can't be walking around at the bottom of the SMV list, expecting a man at the top of that list, and then acting like you deserve that, acting like, oh, it's not fair. In what world come in last? Being at the bottom, right, of what men want, being at the bottom of the list will get.
And let me say this, when it comes to like fairness in the market or dating and like what you deserve, like I feel like that's completely irrelevant. Like who's like, I deserve, like there's a lot of people who don't get what they deserve. You know what I'm saying? You get what you can get. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even prescribe to the whole like, do you deserve, what kind of woman do you think you deserve? You know what I mean? Like there's some really, kind-hearted people who deserve to get whatever type of partner they want. But that's not the society we're living in. Do you meet the qualifications? That's basically what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what you deserve. Do you meet the qualifications? So, because you may deserve a really good man, but do you meet the qualifications? That is what you need to be asking yourself. Do you meet the qualifications? So if you're not getting the type of men you want, you probably aren't meeting the qualifications. So you got to start there.
Get you the top man, get you the top prize. And we continue to tell these women that never settle, you deserve your desires, you deserve what you want, and we're doing them a disservice. We're doing these women a disservice. Instead of telling them, hey, if you want this, you have to become this so you can be qualified for it. We just tell them, hey, be this, be below here, and still want this, manifest this, demand this, say it's not fair, be loud, be aggressive, be combative, because that will get you this. It's doing them a disservice because they'll never get it. A man who is at the top, a man who did the work to become above average is not going to settle for a woman that is below average. Just like how these women have this mindset, this misconception that they are above average and they will never settle for a man that's below average. In reality, these above average men aren't going to settle for these women who are below average. It's time for us to start telling our sisters the truth. We're not getting married because we continue to sit in this echo chamber. We continue to be fed these lies, these unrealistic lies. Like, come on, let's think of this logically. All right? She can sit there and say she's not going to settle for a $50,000 a year man, which is the average earning. That's the average salary. She's not going to settle for an average man because she deserves, because she wants the house. Like, come on, sister, look at you. Look in the mirror. It's not to shame. It's not to put her down. It's not to bash her. But it's to start calling things for what it is. I cannot believe that we've gotten away with this for so long. We've gotten away with telling women who can't even fit in the chair that she can demand a man who is above average, when the main thing men want is fit woman. Fit, to be able to pick you up. That's the main thing men want. And we're living in a society where we can tell a woman who weighs more than men that she can have her top pick of the litter. Come on. Again, shout out to Poor Man's Podcast for this.
All right, so that's the end of the video. So yeah, I thought she made some really valid points there, and that's the thing. So if however the woman is, I guess, evaluating herself, the woman on the on Poor Man's Podcast, she must not be using her looks as her value. She she's probably her personality, her job, other things is, I guess, how she sees her value, because a plus size girl, especially in the black community, like 80% of black women are overweight, which is freaking ridiculous, and we don't talk about it enough. I mean, feel beautiful in your own skin, but there's way too many of us are eating unhealthy and need to be in shape. But like, as from a looks perspective, like, shorty, you don't stand out. Let's just be real, because I mean, with 80% of the black female population being overweight, a dude, if he's going after you for looks, he can get that anywhere. Because like I said, there's oversized black women everywhere you go. So dude can get that anywhere. And what you have to understand, whether you don't like it or not, guys really care about looks, and that's one of the top things on their list. And so you got to think about that. You got to think about that. How are you presenting yourself? How are you carrying yourself? Are you keeping yourself in shape? Are you hitting the gym? Are you eating right? These things matter to a lot of men. A lot of men, especially the guys that she's talking about who are making over 50,000, because that's an above average man. So you can't expect someone who is above average to settle for someone who is below average, at least in the looks department. And you gotta be realistic about your standards. You gotta be realistic about your standards, and it's just crazy. So it's like you want them to lower their standards, but you're not willing to lower your standards. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And those guys that she's talking about, the guys that she wants, like, those guys aren't checking for her, and all the women are going after those same type dudes. So the competition is crazy. It's crazy. So I tell people all the time, like, lowering your standards, like, that's not such a bad thing. That's not such a bad thing, because there's going to be some really good dudes making 40K, making 35K, making 50K. But she's saying that's not enough. But there's some really good dudes who just so happen to be in that tax bracket. If you want men to see an overweight woman and see the beauty inside, then you got to see the beauty inside of a man who's making less than 50K. That's just fair. That's just fair. Now, if you say, nah, bump that, I'm not settling for no broke dude, then shorty, you gotta meet the qualifications. So you need to start eating right, and you gotta hit the gym. Cause you know what I'm saying, like, you can't be obese trying to compete for the top 10% of men. It's just, the odds are not in your favor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, that'll be like hitting the lottery. So, ladies, just be realistic with your expectations. All right, man, I thought that was a good video. Let me know what you thought. What points did you agree with? What points did you disagree with? Leave your comments below and let me know what you thought. And if you got anything out of this video, hit that like button. This is Agree to Disagree. I'm out.